Okay, everybody, welcome to tonight's training session on team building. This is Don Martin. This is the Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, team building, prospecting, and qualifying interactive workshop. So I want to congratulate you guys for being on. Tonight I'm going to talk about three strategies. Three strategies that if you implement these correctly, literally, will help you create more potential partners than you could ever work with yourself. These three strategies I've learned over my 20-year career, and they are by far the most advanced but simple way to build this business and create so many people that you will have the opportunity to share the business with, to sift and sort. Not try to convince, not try to sell, but to sift and sort through to find the right people. And truth be told, if you do it really, really well, you'll have more people wanting to partner with you than you possibly could work with on your own, which is a great problem to have. It gives you an opportunity to really get almost like selective, or at least qualify the people that you're going to spend your time with because of how this actually leads to the right people. I want to start off by saying to you, how many of you guys would love to have more people that are in your funnel ready to get started? You could possibly spend time and coach yourself, right? That's what tonight's all about. And here's the thing I want you guys to realize. Last week, just to give you an example, when you master this process, I had 14 people reach out to me last week and asked me to help them get started in business. 14 last week. Now, again, there's certain things people need to do to be my personal sponsor, meaning for me to be able to be a personal sponsor, there's certain things that they need to do. It's a qualifying process for them because I want to make sure when I bring somebody in, they become successful. And there's certain things that they need to do. But the reality of it is that's because I can do that now because I have more people than I could handle. And you can have the same thing happen for you. And it's not because of the money I've earned or I'm making. It's because of the process I mastered. In fact, I don't even talk about when I'm talking to a new person that I'm talking, they don't even know how successful I've become. I don't even talk about those things. I just help them understand the process, right, of evaluating the business in a comfortable setting, and also a few simple strategies to help get people to lead to more people. So I'm going to talk about those today. Here's the three things I'm going to talk about. One of them you've heard about in some scenarios, but I'm going to customize it to the current situation we're in. And that's called the evaluation approach. That's going to be the second thing I'm going to talk about tonight. But the first concept I'm going to talk about is what my screen is going to show you in a second. And it's going to be, it's called this. It's called Power Referral Networking. Power Referral Networking. Power referral networking is a process by which an individual, right, which is a part of a team. So you together with your team work together to uncover connectors within a common vertical in certain geographical locations. Okay, and this is the first strategy I'm going to teach you, and here's why. Here's what I found in the business. When people first come into business, sometimes people have hesitations. Wouldn't you agree? When you think about it, like people have hesitations, they're afraid to pick up the phone and call somebody and ask them to evaluate the business. Or they're shy a little bit because they don't know enough about the business to confidently have somebody, evaluate, or they're afraid to reach out to somebody because they don't know what to say when people start asking them questions, or they don't know how to present it correctly to where people don't have a massive preconceived notion that we're one of those things when each one of us knows we're totally different than anything else out there. It's really important for people to know that we're different, but sometimes it takes some time for people to get comfortable to be willing to do this. Pick up the phone and call somebody and ask them to evaluate either the business for you or a product. And I'm going to tell you, the process of actually picking up the phone and talking to somebody and asking them in a direct conversation, not through a text message, not through an email, and not through a Facebook message or a Facebook post, but actually making a call and asking somebody to evaluate something is the magic secret bullet to building a successful business of any time. of any type, I mean, it has to be done with a direct conversation because it shows that you have belief in the business that you're doing. It shows that you're not mass marketing it to people. And it shows that the person that you're calling actually matters and they're worth the time. You value them to take time to reach out to them and have them, directly take the time individually to reach out to them and ask them to evaluate your business or evaluate a product that you have in your business. Maybe not for them, but to be able to lead to the right people. So people sometimes have some time that it takes for them to be comfortable to do that because they're afraid of the questions or they don't know how to answer the questions or they're, like I said, they just don't have the education. So what I created, I actually learned this from JR, the CEO of Marketing America, when we were opening up the UK in England, the United Kingdom. Sometimes people say UK, but in the UK, right? England. What I found is this strategy creates magic in motion and it creates a ton of people that get curious to what you have in your hands. What Power Referral Networking is this. We pick a town that we know either a leader is traveling to or we have a leader who lives in. So let's just say I'll use this example tonight for me. I live in the Philadelphia market, essentially. I'm just outside of Philadelphia, but I'm in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, right? So the Philadelphia and surrounding areas, the greater Philadelphia area. So this would be a target area for you to start a Power Referral Networking process. And here's how it works. Power Referral Networking means this. You have an area that you're targeting to find people in. And the goal is to uncover people who live in that town to network with. That's it. Not to get in, not to get them to buy a product, but just to network with. All right? And here's why it's such a great strategy. Let's just say, in this example, Jessica from Alabama, right? Because I can see her right now. She is starting in the business, and she's just getting warmed up to be willing, just learning how to, the process of using the evaluation approach to get people to look at the business, right? Maybe she's a little hesitant, right? Maybe she's a little shy to do that, right? So here's how I can get her to start uncovering people without having to make the direct type of conversation where you're asking somebody to evaluate the business right away. This is to get you warmed up in the process of calling people and asking them for support without trying to get them into anything. So here's what Jessica would do. And this is what what Power Referral Networking is. And this strategy is magic. Jessica would take her phone and she would start at A. So she'd go here and she'd pick up her phone book list and she'd start at A. For me, it's A to Z Marina, Lou, right? At A to Z Marina. So it doesn't matter who it is. You hit it and you call. And this is what you say, right? And here's the thing. Here's the best part. You're not trying to get Lou in. You're not even trying to get Lou to look at your business. And you're not even trying to get Lou to evaluate a product. You're just calling Lou for one purpose and one person only. One purpose only. To ask him if he knows anybody who lives in the greater Philadelphia area. That's it. Understood? I'm not trying to tell him about anything more than I want to find out if he knows somebody in the greater Philadelphia area because I started a business that's expanding there with one of my partners. That's it. So I would call up Lou, and here's what I'd say. Hey, Lou, it's Don. Do you have a quick second? Great. The reason why I'm calling is because I'm curious. Do you happen to know anybody in the greater Philadelphia surrounding areas at all? Anybody there that I can connect with and network with? The reason why I'm asking is because I started a business and it's expanding in that area right now. And I'm looking for people in that area to network with and connect with. I started a business and that's it. Do you know anybody? Now, if Lou says, what type of business is it? It's a product brokerage, Lou. I'll tell you about it a little bit later. I'm just curious. I can call you back another time, but do you know anybody? You just get past it. Do you know anybody who lives in that area that I can connect with that maybe, and here's another tip, that maybe can lead me in the right direction, or can help me learn the lay of the land in that area, maybe meet some good people to network with. Everybody get that? That's it. Now, I will tell you, I'd say probably 80% of the time, they'll say no. It depends on the area. Some areas, you'll get 80% of the time, they'll say yes. Some areas, 80% no. But, let's just say if you're like, Jessica and Alabama and everyone in Philly, maybe 80% of the people say no, but 20% of people say yes. Great. How can I get in touch with them? What's the best way you can get me in touch with them? I like to just connect with them, chat with them, and just ask them some questions about the area and, just seeing if I can get a good networking relationship with them, right? They can help me out a little bit. What's the best way to get in touch with them? And you get their details. Now, I'll tell you what to do later, but that's what you do. Now, let's just say Lou says, no, I don't know. All right, great. Well, Lou, keep me in mind. If you come across anybody, let me know. And Lou's going to say, well, what type of business is this? It's a brokerage business. I'll call you later. I'll give you a detail later when I have a chance. I'm just really on a mission right now, but good catching up with you. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Boom. Get off. Don't answer the questions, guys. Just move on. All you're doing is looking for people who live in what? The Philadelphia greater surrounding areas, right? Now you move on. So the next person, and I do the next one. I would go to, let's see, Dan and Becky are both in the business, Abbott House. Jeff Abusey. I call up Jeff. His last name is Abusey. Hey, Jeff, I need a favor out of you, dude, real quick. Hope all's good. Do you happen to know anybody living in the greater Philadelphia surrounding areas? I don't know if you heard or not, but I started a business, and it's actually expanding in that area, and I'm looking for people to connect with, network with, that can maybe help me learn the lay of the land, right? Maybe can introduce me to some of the right people that I can do some business with in those areas. And yes or no? Great. What is the business? I'll tell you about it later. It's a product brokerage business. We distribute products all over the country through an online platform, but we have people who live in the areas that are kind of the pioneer of the area for us. Really simple. Well, I'll talk to you about it more later. But you just kind of onward, upward. And then here's the thing, and you keep going. And guys, you go from A to Z. Now, here's the thing I will promise you. At least 20% of the people are going to know someone, and you're going to get names and numbers for people or email addresses or however to be able to do that with. Do you guys understand? Now, the reason why it's called power, see, you're doing referral networking now. Referral networking is you're asking everybody for a referral so you can network with them. That's why it's called referral networking. The power comes in when you do it with a whole entire team of people. Power is everybody together is doing this, looking for people in the same home of the same area, and you're looking for one superstar that falls in the vertical. It doesn't matter who, you don't know who's going to lead to it. It could be multiples, but the power is me and Darwin and Johnny and say Eva and Juan all in one vertical are all doing it. And because we're all connected financially, no matter who finds a superstar, they go down the bottom and everybody wins. Do you guys understand? That's why it's called power. But here's the cool part about this. And you go through A to Z and you reach out to everybody as fast as you can. Now, some of them you will, some of you won't. And I'm not getting it. I literally, my conversations are no longer than 30 seconds to 45 seconds. I'm keeping it short, sweet, to the point, unless I'm getting more contact details from them to get in touch with the people that are there. I'll tell you what we do with the phone numbers later, but just keep the focus here. We're just looking for people to connect with, network with, build networking relationships with that might be able to help us learn the lay of the land in their area, maybe meet some people that we can work with and do business with.
Hey, Don, would you mind saying that again so I can record it?
Yeah, I have this whole entire script, Joel.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I'll send it out to everybody. I'm going to post it, okay? So you guys can have it. And this is also recorded, so you guys will be able to rewatch too. But I'm going to make sure I have this script. So that's that, guys. Now, there's something called this. There is the Power Referral Networking Workbook. There's a workbook in the team Facebook page that you can just go down and find the workbook, and you can download it, print it off. And there's a workbook that takes you through this whole entire process, and it is absolutely magic. In fact, here's what I'll do. After we finish this video, I'll repost it, and I'll put it back at the top, and I'll also send you the Dropbox link on the Facebook group as well, so you guys can download it right off of Dropbox, okay? But in fact, can you grab that up for me on there, Jason? It's in my bag, I think. I'm pretty sure it's in that bag. So that's that. So, and you keep going through the whole process. So here's the magic of this. You go through your whole entire list. Now watch this, Joel. This is what's really, really cool about this. Was I trying to get any of them to look at the business? No. Was I trying to get any of them to try a product? No. Was I trying to get any of them to do anything that they didn't want to do? No. I'm just calling them to ask them, do you know somebody who lives in this town? Right? Here's the workbook right here. This is the Power Referral Networking Workbook, right? Jack Beck printed this off for me and put it and bound it for me, right? I have this digital so you can print it off, download it and print it yourself. And this takes you through how to do it not only yourself, and it has all the scripts in it, Joel, right, in there, and it talks about the process, but here, and it goes through the whole entire thing on how to do it. Let's see here. And this is based upon, it says UK, but you can change UK to any town or city that you're going into, right? Here's the checklist. The checklist. There's a script right here to give you an idea. And I'm not a big script person, but I am an outline person, meaning I don't like to approach people with a script, but I like to have, so this is the script right here, but I like to have an outline so I don't miss what I want to say. A couple things I would have on an outline would be, I want to meet people to network with. I'm expanding into that area. I just want to learn the lay of the land, maybe connect with other people that I can do some business with in that area. Those type of key terms and words that I want to say, but I'm not trying to get them in. Now, they are going to, by accident, sometimes get interested, right? Wait a minute, you have a business that's expanding? So here's the first, let's say they didn't know anybody. Here's the benefit of this process. I don't know how many names you have in your phone, but I have hundreds. Now, about 20% are going to recommend me someone or know somebody in the area that I'm working with, but the 80% won't. But here's what happens subconsciously because you didn't try to get them, you didn't try to sell them, and you didn't try to convince them. Guess what they're thinking? What is this business? What is this business that you're involved with? What is and since you didn't puke on them and throw up on them and try to get them to look at it right away, it's almost like, wait a minute. Like it takes a completely different form in their mind than it would have taken if you just instantly try to go for the, appointment right away. You're planting some seeds here and they're getting curious. So now what happens? Let's just say, and here's a goal, guys. If you do this right with your team, if you do this, you pick one town per month and you get your team doing this in and around booking appointments with the evaluation approach and all, because you're still going to do that once people become receptive. You're still going to do direct approach or direct evaluation approaches with people on top of doing these type of things, right? But let's just say you take a month and you do Philadelphia, right? Then also maybe 4 to 6 weeks after that, you pick another town. We all want to go to Florida next winter and hang out with Eva and Juan and Toby and Darwin and Sawyer and that whole crew, right? So here's what we're going to do. Next month, 4 to 6 weeks after we do the Philly thing, we're going to do the exact same thing. But we're going to pick another town. Let's just say Fort Myers and Florida and the surrounding areas, right? Fort Myers, Naples, Cape Coral, right? That dinner. So I call the same people. And I say, yo, Lou, it's Don again, man. Just a couple things. Curious, did you by any chance come across people living in the Philadelphia area? By any chance? Just curious. And by the way, I also have one other area. Do you know anybody who lives in the Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Naples, Florida area as well? Because now we're expanding there also. And they tell you or not. Now, here's what happens. By the second, third, fourth time, I'm going to promise you this is what happens. This is what Lou says. Wait a minute. This business what is this business you're talking about? In fact, Lou, at any given time, you guys can say this. A lot of times they'll say, hey, you got to tell me about this thing. They'll start asking you to share it with them. You won't have to ask. They'll start asking because they're curious, right? Especially when you say maybe the third month or the fourth month, when I'm getting ready to go to the UK, you say, hey, not only we expanded in Philadelphia and Fort Myers, but now we actually have some things starting. We're starting to expand into England. Do you know anybody over there? Wait a minute, you got to tell me about this business. What is going on? Like, after you do this 2, 3, 4, 5 times, they are going to start asking you to share with them it creates so much curiosity. And here's what it does psychologically. It also creates a massive amount of credibility. When they're seeing, wow, and by the way, if you do this right, you're going to have new people started in each one of these towns within a month after you find them, because here's what you're going to do. You're going to plug them in with the people that you have on your team that already live there. You don't have to travel to Bucks County or Philadelphia area because I live here. and I'll get on a Zoom and talk to them. And then once we're back from this social distancing stuff, I'll go meet them for coffee, and I'll show them the business plan. You know, Juan and Eva, you're in Fort Myers, you find, or Jessica, you're in Alabama, you find them in Philly. I'm going to go meet with them, have a coffee with them, and we're going to call them and say, hey, listen, we're looking for people to network with in the area. We're expanding our business up here. I'm just looking for people who can help us learn to lay the land and maybe introduce us to some people that could be a good fit for us. Would you mind meeting with us and just having a chance of networking? We'd tell you about what we do and how you can help us. And by the way, because we're networking all the time, maybe we could help you with recommendations for your business too, simultaneously. You guys see? Man, it is just magic in motion. And as you do this, you get comfortable. Here's a win of all this stuff. People get comfortable picking up the phone and calling people because there's no pressure. They're just asking if they know somebody, right? And they're networking. Number 2, they're creating curiosity. Number 3, they're building confidence in themselves. And number 4, those people that they find are going to end up leading to someone that's a partner for you in each of these areas. And every area you have a new person that comes on board is like an exponent on your residual income, because it's not dependent upon one physical town or location. It's dependent on many. Does everybody get that? That's power referral networking. Now, again, referral networking is when you do it yourself. But when you engage with people that are, let's just say, and looking at the screen, let's say I'm above Jason, who's above Joel, who's above Eva, who's above Juan, who's above, whoever, all of us were connected. I'm going to call all of us. We're going to do it all at the same time. What we can do once this social distancing is over, we get together and we can do it all at the same time. We call it a call workshop, and we take an hour or two and we talk, we network, and we have a bite, we have a drink, or whatever we do together, right? And we all do this and we celebrate the wins. We're like high-fiving, right, Jace? We're like high-fiving when we find somebody, get a referral. But it's amazing when you hear the people start saying, man, what is this business again? Because they're so curious, because you're not trying to get them that they need to know what it is you're doing. Do you understand? That's the side benefit. Here's the other thing. It creates a positive gossip in your warm market instead of a negative gossip. See, one of the mistakes that happens sometimes too is we start calling people, or we're a little shy, so we text them or we email them, and then they have a preconceived notion, and then they're judging you, right? I mean, listen, I had that happen too. They're judging you because they think you're in some deal, right? Now, because you approached them right away before you warmed up the pot a little bit, this is a great way to warm up the pot. Now, some people you're good enough friends with, you can just say, hey, listen, and that's the next thing we get to is the evaluation approach. And the evaluation approach is what has made me millions in this business, right? Because I never try to get anybody in. I just had everybody evaluate because they might know the right person. And when the right person sees this, you don't have to talk them into it. They can't help themselves, but they volunteer themselves when they see what makes us different. Joel said it great yesterday on a call. He said, you just got to get people to see this compensation plan because there's nothing like this in the world. Nothing comes close to it. Vertical search, 100% credit. Everybody gets stacked on top of each other. It accrues to you get paid no end of month. You place people in volume at the bottom and it pays bottom up. We have multiple products in the brokerage concept. You're not stuck with one industry where companies go out of business and this company keeps growing because we can move with the marketplace. We can re-enter centers under teams. So now the top people have to go underneath the existing people and secure them if they want to make more than $3,600 a week. All these things make this the most revolutionary thing out in the world. But sometimes it takes some confidence to be able to be willing to what? Pick up the phone and call and ask. So this power referral networking process makes it fun, gets people engaged, builds confidence, finds people in other areas, but also creates curiosity all at the same time. This one process right here can find you more people than you can ever handle just in and of itself. And that's one strategy. Any questions on this before I move on at all? Feel free, guys. Just unmute yourself if you have a question. Or I'll move on to the evaluation, but I'm sure we have a couple, I would think anyway.
Okay, I'm just a little, so you just pick a random place or just some place that you said that someone in your group is lives in, right? You would
Anybody
do it that way?
you would pick. Now, obviously, if you would try to find a place where you know people. So, for example, for those of you like you guys around, like you would just, since I live in the Philadelphia and surrounding greater Philadelphia area, that's a great place to start for you guys because I'm here. And we have like Roseanne Conway and me and Jason and Jack Beck and a whole group of us that have systems in place already right here. Great place to find people because you have a team that lives here. So I'd start there. But like for me, people in our area, maybe we'll pick Fort Myers, Florida, because we all want to go down there and be snowbirds in January, February, March. You know what I mean? Or whatever it might be. So, or Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is my favorite place to go in June and July. I just love it down there. Like in the winter or the summer, it's a great place. One of my favorite places. I'm a big fisherman and I love to go out of Virginia Beach fishing. But so it's just wherever you want to go and where people that live there, that are on the team. That's how you disseminate it. And we can do that together as a team. So that's where it comes from. And then you just attack. Now, simultaneously, don't get me wrong. These is a one time where I will also send messages, right? Not texts, but emails and Facebook messages, direct Facebook messages to do this as well. Because some people, I might not have their phone number. So I'm going to text them really, really something similar. Now, here's the thing. I know it'll go back and forth. So I'm not going to tell them why I'm asking. Hey, I have a quick question. I need some help. Do you know anybody? I'll send this on an email or a text to everybody that I have in my email list and my text group. Here's why. They'll reply if they do, or at least ask me why. And then I can tell them why later. On a call, you got to get it out. But when you text it, I'm just going to say, hey, Joel, quick question. Just out of curiosity, do you know anybody who lives in the greater Philadelphia area? And I'll email him or Facebook message him. Not a text. If I have their phone number, I'm calling them. But if I don't, I can drop him an email or a message and ask that. And he'll say, why? Yeah, I do. Why? Or no, I don't. Why? Well, I started a business and it's growing there and expanding there. I'm looking for people to network with, learn the lay of the land, and just get engaged with people who live there who might be able to lead me to the right people to connect with there. I'm looking for some partners that live in that area, some people I can work with. I can tell you more about it later. Does that make sense? Go ahead, Bill.
I've got an old business, actually a boss, who has laid off about 100 people, employees. Yeah. He's a national, so the geographic thing isn't necessarily able to work, and getting a hold of him on a phone is not easy to do either. I'm going to let you just take that and run with how to handle something in a situation like that.
I would send him an email, and just say the same thing. He probably knows people everywhere because he's a national thing, right? But again, the thing that I caution with those type of things is, he can lead the people, but I want to just I want to warm that approach, warm that relationship up, or just kind of drip on him a little bit before I go to ask him to evaluate something right away. Unless I have a really solid relationship, then I might,
Yeah.
Right. All right. So that's, yeah, go ahead.
So I know when we approach people, like obviously for evaluation purposes, we don't leave messages.
Yeah.
And that's very important because you're not trying to pitch something over a voice
it's
conversation
great,
without somebody.
It's a great point.
In this case scenario, since you're doing like
you can leave a message.
Search, would it be proper to leave
you can leave a message. But so here's the thing, and Jason made a great point. When you call, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the evaluation approach. When you do an evaluation approach, holy moly, it's 10 after 10 already. When you do an evaluation approach, you don't ever want to leave the message and say, if I call somebody, it's the most important thing. Teach people how to leave a message. I'm calling Joel. This is how I leave my messages 100% of the time. Hey, Joel, it's Don. Give me a call back when you get a chance. I have a question for you. Thanks. Bye. That's it. I'm not saying, hey, Joel, it's Don. The reason why I'm calling is because I'm just curious if you know anybody who lives in Philadelphia because I have a business and I'm growing it. Man, people know that sounds so canned. They ain't gonna, you know what I mean? It's just weird. Or, hey, Joe, I want you to evaluate a business for me. Call me back when you have a time. Here's the thing. That shows me that you're a little scared and you just wanted to get it off your chest, right? And you didn't want them to answer. Oh, thank God he didn't answer. Let me just leave it on voicemail so I don't have to worry about a response, right? You want to get on that. You want that. So it's just, hey, give me a call back when you get a chance. Now, a lot of people say, well, people don't answer calls anymore. Okay, great. Here's how you bridge that gap. Hey, Joel, I send Joel a text. Hey, Joel, I have a question for you. Give me a call when you get a chance. That's it. I'm not going to text, hey, can you help me out? I want you to evaluate something. No. I want to ask them directly because I want them to know that this is more important than a text message. This is more important than an email. Hey, Joel, I have something important to ask you. Give me a call when you get a chance. Hey, Joel, I have something important to ask you. Give me a call when you have a chance. Hey, the reason why I'm calling you directly is because this is really important to me. Do you know anybody who lives in Philadelphia? You see what I'm saying? It's a major, it's a posture. It's a difference in positioning. All right, so that's number one. Number two, that's the power of phone networking. Now, we're going to put together teams on this, but man, is this a powerful process to do. And it teaches people to get comfortable with the phone again. And by the way, I'm not a big phone, like I like doing 1 or 2 calls a day, you know? But when I'm power phone networking, I might do 10 or 15 a day where I'm just, you know, because it only takes 30 seconds to a minute, right? That's really, really easy to do. All right. Second process, that's called the evaluation approach. The evaluation approach, all right? Now, you've all heard about this. Let me find you the evaluation approach here. Here it is. Here's the evaluation approach. Now, I will tell you guys, I would snapshot this screen and take a look at it. Now, this is the standard generic evaluation approach. If you want to get, I can promise you this. If you can get 2 people a week to evaluate the business, you're unstoppable. Not to get them in, not to get them interested, but just to evaluate the business because they might not be interested themselves, but they might know the right people. 2 a week that'll do that for you. You're unstoppable. Because that'll get you 104 a year in 52 weeks, 104 a year. You're going to have 8 ridiculously solid superstars that are going to evolve and emerge from those 104. Does that make sense? See, I don't care what any one person says because I'm not trying to get anybody. This is the one thing I almost brainwashed myself when I started. I'm not trying to convince anybody to do something they don't want to do, and I'm not trying to sell anybody because it makes them feel awkward. It makes me feel uncomfortable, right? But here's what I want to do. I want people to evaluate because it may or may not be for them, but they might know the right people, in which case I can work something out with you, Bill, if you lead me to people, even if it's not for you. I can work something out with you financially. It can mean substantial royalties to you, especially if you can recommend me too. Just even if you don't want to be interested, we can make money together. But I just want you to evaluate it because you might know somebody. Whether it be for you or not, fine with me, right? So here's the evaluation approach. This is the standard one. And this is, by the way, what I did. And I'm going to tell you guys, for my first 2 years, I had this outline in front of me every time I made a call. And I referenced it. And I never made a call without this in front of me for my first 2 years. You know why? Because I don't want to mess up. And I learned this approach, by the way, from the audio Master Building Techniques. And I learned it from this tape right here. Master Building Techniques, the tape, the cassette. Now, not this particular one, because I listened to this so many times that I probably broke and ruined a half a dozen of them, right? Because you know how it works and you need your pencil to read, you know what I'm saying? But some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But some of you are like, what are you talking about? But man, that product, that audio, I listened to, I will tell you something. I saw something yesterday, just to throw this in here. From Colt. How many people have ever heard the Bruce Lee quote? He says, I don't fear the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks one time, but I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. How many of you have heard that? Well, so important. Colton Whited has a quote that he took from Bruce Lee. He tweaked it up about audios. He goes, I don't fear the man who's listened to one audio 1,000 times. I don't fear the man who's listened to 1,000 audios one time. I fear the man who listened to one great audio 1,000 times. I'm going to tell you something. This is what made me millions in this business. Master Building Techniques audio. Now, it doesn't have to be this audio particularly, but an audio similar that has great, valid content on how to make good approaches. How to get people to evaluate the business and not care if I don't care if people are interested in the business. I just want them to evaluate because they might know the right people. And if they feel like they're being pitched, I said too much. If they feel like let me tell you something. If they come and they're interested, I said too much. I want people to evaluate, because whether it be for them or not, they might know the right people. And there's no confrontation. There's no tension. They're evaluating because they might know the right people. That's it. So here's how I do it. I'm going to call up Joel. And I'm going to say, hey, Joel, man, it's Don, man. I only have a quick second. The reason why I'm calling is I was wondering if you can give me some assistance on something. Can you help me out? No, I'll stop and say, yeah, sure. What can I help you with? Well, listen, I don't know if you heard or not, but I started another business in this crazy day and age where things are just nuts and, people need to be able to shop from home and get product from home and work from home. I realized I had to start a business, and I'm really excited because I've been able to help a lot of people so far with it. But I'm actually starting to expand into the area that you live in with this now, and I'm looking to bring a few people on board. Right? Now, I understand that you're very, very busy, and this may or may not be for you, and I'm fine with it either way. Right? Or I know you're really busy, and you probably wouldn't have any extra time to do anything else, and I'm completely fine with that either way. But what I'd like for you to do, though, is evaluate what I'm doing for me, because you might know the right people that you can lead me to, in which case I can work something out with you financially if you can lead me the right people too, regardless of your own personal interest. And I can make it worth your while. When would be a good time for us to chat? Would you mind evaluating it for me so I can give you a good feel about what we do and the type of people that would be a good recommendation or fit for me? That's it, right? That's my evaluation approach. The key to this is I'm not looking for you to become involved. You may or may not be interested. I'm fine with it either way. See, here's the reason that people will blow you off. It's not because they don't want to be talked into something. See, a lot of people think people will blow you off and say no because they want to be talked into something. That's not the main reason why people won't do it. The main reason, that's one reason, but that's not the number one reason. The number one reason is people that are your friends, they don't want to look and hurt your feelings and say no, so they'll avoid the meeting completely. That's the reason why most people won't give you that meeting. Or they'll say, yeah, I will, but then they start thinking, oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to be interested. I really like Joel. I don't want to say no to him. I'm just going to tell him the cat had diarrhea and I have to steam clean the carpets. You understand? Or whatever that might be. Or my aunt has an ingrown toenail, I have to help her fix it, or something ridiculous. They're avoiding the meeting because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So if you say up front, hey, Joel, I'm fine with it. Listen, I'd like you to evaluate because you might know the right people. I understand that you probably won't have time for this, and I'm fine with it either way. I just want – see, if I tell him that, then he knows he's not going to hurt my feelings no matter what, and I'm not trying to persuade him to do anything. I just want you to evaluate, Joel, because I'm looking to expand right now, and in your day, in your everyday, efforts, you might know the right people, in which case it could be beneficial, not only me, but I can make it beneficial to you too if you can lead to the right person who helps me create business. We can make it worth both of our whiles. It can mean some royalties to you. So when's a good time that I can share a Zoom screen share with you and give you an overview of this? Again, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I promise. Got it? That's it. I will tell you, 70% of the people that I sponsor in this business were not interested at all when they saw the business plan. They weren't interested at all. They only looked because they might know the right people. And they became interested automatically, just like it was for me. The only reason why I looked was because my accountant and my buddy Jay were referring me business. I didn't want them to stop. And when I saw this, I was like, this is brilliant. I want to do it. And that's what happens with the right people. But if I showed up and I thought they were trying to get me, I would have been trying to figure out the whole time. Instead of watching to understand it, I would have been subconsciously trying to figure out, how can I get out of this? How can I say no? How can I get out of this without them trying to solve me? So I'm not paying attention to the meeting. I'm trying to create my excuse in my brain instead of focusing on what's going on. You see? This psychology of the evaluation approach is magic, and everybody needs to master it. Now, let me give you another one for right now. Then I'm going to move to our last process and wrap up today's meeting. The second evaluation approach is this. And this is in today's day and age, in the social distancing era, okay? In a challenging economic and just a weird, twilight zone time that we're in right now, right? Here's another, there's multiple variations of the evaluation approach. I just gave you my favorite one that's on your screen right now, right? But I'm going to give you a variation that is phenomenal right now to help get the word out. I'm going to call up Bill, all right? Hey, Bill, it's Don. Do you have a quick second, right? I only have a quick second, I like to say. I only have a second. All right, Bill, the reason why I'm calling is because of this. I actually got started in something that can really help a lot of people out in a lot of different ways in this crazy time. You might not need anything that I have through my business right now yourself because everything might be great for you, but I have a way to help a lot of people that you might know who could use it. When can I show you what I'm doing so you know how to send those people to me so I can help them? Boom. That's it. It's just that simple. So, hey, Bill, it's Don. I only got a quick second. The reason why I'm calling is because I wanted to let you know that I actually have something. I started something from a business perspective, from a business standpoint, that can help a lot of people right now when it comes down to products or services that they're trying to access that they can't get access to, or even a way to make money in this tough time. I understand you might not need either of those two, and I'm cool with that either way. But you certainly are going to know some people that I can help and benefit. And I'd like to share with you what I'm doing so you know how to send them over my way and we can situate it to be able to help them out. I know a lot of people need help right now. I can help a lot of people. When's the best time for us to jump on a Zoom that I can walk you through what I'm doing so you understand what some of the product and services I have access to that can really benefit people. And also I can even tell you a little bit about the business if there's people out there looking to generate some income. I can help them with it. That's it, right? That's a second variation. Very simple. It's positioned now, and it lets them know you can help a lot of people, and you might not need help yourself, Bill, in either of these, but you definitely know people who do. And I just want you to understand enough to where you can confidently recommend them over to me, and I can help them. And that's it. Any questions on that? See, my thing is this. It's about exposure. I want to sift and sort, not convince. I'm in the sifting and sorting business, not the convincing business. I'm the sifting and sorting business, not the convincing business. I'm the exposure business, not the convincing business. See, I know this. If I can get people to just unconsciously evaluate a business and they feel like they're not being sold at all, that's my job. I don't want them to feel pressured or sold at all. I just want them to evaluate it. But they have to see the whole thing because you know how it is. Everybody has preconceived notions if you try to get them. And they'll blow you off at every chance that they can, right? Because they just don't want to feel some sort of way. So that is that. So that is the second process in the evaluation approach. Now, the last process is a little advanced. This is only for people that have been around for a while. And this is called the Blue Man Group process. Do you know what that is, Jason? Yep. Okay, Jason knows what it is. Looking at the group here, in fact, I'm going to escape out of this slideshow here and get back to my my full screen before I finish this up. I call this the Blue Man Group process. And this is for those of you who've been, Gina, Dorothy, Darwin, Mike Irby, Patsy, John Talmadge, who else? Jack Beck, Darwin and Toby, Jason, Ken Anderson, a handful of us, Pastor Pat, Vina. The Blue Man Group process is very simply the Shondell. Everybody here's the thing about our business. Timing is not always right when people come into the business the first time. Wouldn't you agree? Not always. I mean, listen, timing's not right for people all the time. There's a lot of times people come into the business, they love the business, right? And they love the product. But life it didn't work for them to either build the business or something came up in their life that took them away from the business. I mean, people get tired, they get sick, they get divorced, they get married, they have babies. There's things that happen in people's life that can take them away from the business for whatever reason. They still love the business, but they got away from it. They become in our business system called Blue Men. And a Blue Man is someone that, for whatever reason, they didn't have the time to build the business, right? Now, here's what happens. In a time like now, where more people than ever need help and assistance and support in things like health and wellness, working from home, building a business, creating a plan B for crying out loud. Like, people got punched in the gut. And like, it's funny, you can't build a plan B when you need a plan B. You have to build your plan B before you need the plan B so you can depend on it. And so many people that had great jobs and awesome experiences for the past 10 to 12 years, they thought there was nothing that could ever happen that could take them away from it. All of a sudden had a rude wake-up call. They were punched in the gut. Because you never know when challenges come up and you know, and when something happens, and you have to be prepared before you need to be prepared, right? So this is such an awakening and a wake-up call that even when this comes back, like me and Michael Duran were talking yesterday, because, you know, things are back to normal, even when they're back to normal, right, Michael? And let's just say 6 months from now, right, you guys are back producing and you're having shows and people are back working again and all that kind of stuff. We never know when the next challenge in our life's going to be. We never know when an injury is going to happen. We never know when something happens that can take us away from the ability to work again. So that's what people are going to remember. Man, we need to build a backup plan now. So here's the deal. A lot of people that are blue men, right? They went inactive for whatever reason in your business. The timing wasn't right. Right now, the timing could be right because they might need what we have now. And this is a time to reach out to all your blue men and say, hey, listen, the reason why I'm calling is because it was a time that you saw a big, big benefit to what we do in our business. Well, I was just calling back to see if right now might be a time for you to get re-engaged. I was thinking about you, and I thought you might want to get re-engaged right now because we have a lot of ways to help people, and maybe it could be something that could benefit you too. Just that little reach out to tell them you were thinking about them. And listen, timing is everything. I never judge people if they're not willing to take it. When Bob first started, Bob didn't even know what he was doing. I think, Bob Wyman, he did, hey, come videotape Don for me. That's how Bob learned the business plan. Right, Bob? And then all of a sudden, progressively, it just happens by accident. It's like it morphs into something bigger than it. So the reality is you never know what timing is right for people, and Shondell is lighting the thing ablaze, and Shondell was a blue man. You understand what I'm saying? To give you an example. Yes, you were. Gina was a blue man. Now she's on fire. Darwin and Toby were blue men, and now they're on fire. You guys understand what I'm saying? Reach out to those people, send them some love, and let them know you're thinking about them and you want to help them. A lot of you guys are here because someone cared enough to reach out to a blue man and engage them and see if their timing had changed and if their timing was right. Got me? And that's what that process, that's only for those of you who've been around that have blue men. But I will tell you, some of you might run into people that were involved in the business before. But I have a guy in my business that just brought in 2 pharmacists. He was really successful. He built a team of over 100 people, but he went through a divorce, right? And it got messy, and they couldn't, he couldn't occupy. So he had to come back on his own. Guess what happened? Crushing it. He was a blue man. You understand? There's a lot of things that can make people not stay engaged, right? Some of the people that maybe were above you, Ken Anderson, right? Maybe your sponsor. Call them. See if you can engage them. They might need exactly what we have right now. We can change somebody's life with our business right now. And that's how that works. Understood? Everybody got it? Any questions at all about today's? Did you guys enjoy? Was this good? Was there value here for you guys? How about you, Art?
Yeah.
All right, good. Listen, I always look at Art because Art always has that serious look on his face, and you never know. If Art's smiling, I know I did good, and Art's smiling, so that makes me feel good, Art. Thanks, bro. Much appreciated. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording, and